welcome back to Cityline. With me, I have truly one of my favorite people. When she's not jumping off cliffs, when she's not rushing one of her children to the emergency room because they've fallen off a skateboard, when she's not organizing the most beautiful events around Tacoma, she finds time to come sit with her old friend. I'm talking about Rosemary Ponnekanti. She is here to talk about Tacoma Light Rail, but she is, besides all of that, the director of Tacoma Ocean Fest, and she's also an organizer of Tacoma Light Trail. Welcome, my dear, and Happy New Year.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. Happy New Year to you too.
Gosh, thank you, 2021. We are so happy you are here.
Yes.
So I have read a few things about Tacoma Light Trail. You dropped a little hint about it last time you were on Cityline when we were talking about Tacoma Ocean Fest. So without further ado, tell us, what is this?
So the Tacoma Light Trail, and thank you for pronouncing it separately, not to be confused with the Light Rail, although I hope they will join it. The Light Trail is something absolutely brand new. It's never happened before in Tacoma. And if you haven't heard of it, that's okay, because I only dreamed it up about a month or so ago. So it is basically what it sounds like. It is a trail, walking or driving, of light art locations in downtown Tacoma. And basically about 32, 33 locations. They are businesses, museums, empty storefronts, other organizations, artist groups are opening up their front window or their wall or some kind of space that can host light art, whether that's like projection mapping or straight up video projection, lighting up a sculpture, an illuminated lantern, all sorts of stuff. You can see this all from the street, and you can even see it driving by. So it's just that, a trail that you can follow around to find all this cool light art in a safe and socially distanced way. And it's also got a sound trail that goes with it. So on the website and on this special app called Echoes, you can open it up and follow, and every time you go to a light spot, there is a local musician or a poet who has recorded something, and that music or poetry will play as you're watching the art as well.
I am sitting here in just awe because I don't know, when do you sleep? When do you find the time? What did your parents feed you? These are all questions that are just washing over me as I listen to this creative tapestry that you just dreamed up. So the question is, how did you get the idea to begin with?
So I have wanted light art to happen in Tacoma for years because, as you know, I'm Australian, and Sydney has one of the most amazing light festivals in the whole world. It's called Vivid. And that it's a huge scale thing, tons of, millions and millions of dollars. But other places have it too, like Berlin and Jerusalem and now Seattle too, right? And so I thought, we could do this in Tacoma. Why doesn't somebody bring it to Tacoma? And then in addition to that, or separately from that, this year for Ocean Fest, I came across this amazing artist called Christian Breivik. And he's originally from Port Townsend, actually, although he doesn't live there now. And he makes illuminated lanterns in the shape of endangered whales and salmon. And that just like got at my heart. And I thought, I've got to bring him for Tacoma Ocean Fest. But it doesn't make sense to bring light art to a June festival because it's just not dark enough to see it. And so this year, though, thanks to Tacoma Creates, who spread their money out through the year, I could afford to bring him in January when you do need light. And I thought, okay, I will bring Christian's illuminated whale lanterns here to the Foss Waterway Seaport, and it'll be like a little mini Ocean Fest in the depth of winter. And then I thought, wouldn't it be cool if everybody else did that in downtown? So I just hopped on the phone and the email and called around everybody that I could think of. And I've met so many people along the way and had so much help. And it's amazing how many people have just jumped on board and said, yes, we can do this.
You say it's amazing, but you have such a beautiful credibility and a creative track record, who wouldn't say yes to you? Come on. So when we think of who or what are some of the cool places and art on the trail, what stands out to you?
Wow, it's very hard to pick, and I don't want to pick favorites because there are so many. And also, there are some still being confirmed. So there are some I'd love to talk about, but I'm not going to mention them yet because I hope they'll work out. Obviously, I am partial to Christian's whale lanterns at the Foss Seaport. I think everybody should start the trail there or finish the trail there. It's just a beautiful cascade of glowing whales and salmon. But there's a lot of other cool stuff too. Alma Mater, who has been a huge help since the beginning, well, they already have that light art in the back near the patio, but you can see it from the street, you know, those huge like flashing TVs and the slug and stuff like that. They are bringing two more cool things, some outdoor kind of projection stuff and some interior projection mapping. So there's an artist called Ulysses Martin, and he does this thing where you kind of program the shape of an architecture into a computer and you can project light onto that. So it's like an optical illusion. That will be visible looking through the window inside Alma Mater. So that's a cool one. There are so many cool things. Tacoma Urban Performing Arts Center is projecting their Nutcracker video onto the wall of Tacoma Art Museum.
Yes!
Right. And this is the urban Nutcracker. So this is the Nutcracker set on Tacoma's hilltop. Right. And then there's the traditional Nutcracker, but also so many other ballet scenes that you can see in the windows of Tacoma City Ballet, which if you don't know where they are, it's, you know, the Molino building where the Grand is. So if you look upstairs from the Grand, you'll see these beautiful windows. And in the 7 that go around the corner, they're making little ballet shadow boxes with tutus and stage lighting and sets and stuff from the different ballets. That will be very cool.
Don't give us any more.
Okay.
Don't give away too much, because just the Merlino Center alone, I would live in that top floor if I could. Maybe I would. Okay, so let's talk about, there is also, knowing you because you're known for partnerships and community, there's a sound trail part, and how does it work?
Yes. So as I said, the Sound Trail is on its own dedicated app. It's a free app. Anybody can download it. It's called Echoes. And so if you download that up onto your phone and have the location on your phone, and you open up the Tacoma Light Trail walk, then you'll see a bunch of little circles pop up on the map. And as you approach them, that's where the light art is. And your phone will start playing with that music or that poetry. So I'll give you an example. There's an artist cooperative down on Jefferson Avenue, uphill from UW-T. And the artist, it's a photographer, but the sound artists on the Sound Trail at that point are the Tomiko Nimura, who's a writer, and her husband, Josh Parmenter, who's a guitarist. And they collaborated to make a little collage. All about learning things from, you know, resiliency from the garden. So that's how it works. If you don't want to download the app, and I get that, all the sounds will be on the main website as well for you to just press and play.
Oh, I love that. So the big question, or one of the big questions, is here we are, January 1st. We're still in the pandemic. So how can people do this safely, Rosemary, with the COVID-19 restrictions?
Exactly. That is kind of the design of the whole light trail, was my idea that, okay, we need to get out. We need to do fun stuff. We need to be with our folks, but we don't need to be gathering. We shouldn't be gathering in large numbers with other people. So the good thing about the light trail is that the light art is going to be visible from December 30th to January 24th, every night from 5 to 9 p.m. from the street or the sidewalk. So you could literally just drive around it in your car with you or your household and not get out of your car at all. If you feel confident and capable getting out of the car and walking around a bit, that's a good way to experience it too. But because it's all spread out in space and time, there won't be any mass gatherings of people. So it's like a different kind of spaced out event.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Why just downtown Tacoma?
Basically, I really wanted to keep it in a central location. that, and there's going to be a map on the website that's kind of easy to navigate. That's not like the entirety of Tacoma. But the other reason, well, there's two reasons. I really wanted to support downtown arts groups and businesses, some of whom have to close, some of whom are actually open, but people don't realize they're open, like cafes and restaurants for orders to go. And I really wanted to support them and get people thinking about them and maybe looking at what they're doing online. But the other reason is kind of more philosophical, because I think we all need downtown. I was talking to Steph Farber from Leroy Jewelers the other day, and he's been there since 1973. And he has seen it ebb and flow and fluctuate. And he summed it up perfectly when he says, we need that. It's like a third space for the city, a place where we can all be together as Tacoma, with no other, reason to go there. Like it's not a shopping mall or a sports field or something. So that's why downtown.
He is exactly right. I spend a lot of time in downtown, but I miss the feeling of that energy of people in that downtown. So your music, your beautiful music, that double bass, is that going to be on the trail application also?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
I put myself on the trail, but it wasn't favoritism, because actually I was associated with one of the light art stops already. One of them is up already in a form, and that is the chrysalis. It's an illuminated lantern in the shape of a chrysalis, along with stars and other things like that in Wright Park. And right now it's outside the Seymour Conservatory for a couple more days. It's like a memorial of hope, and a memorial for this awful year that's gone and everything we've lost, but also hope for the future. And I played there last night from 4 to 5 p.m. outside the conservatory. So I played my double bass. And then when I was thinking, when the light art moves inside the conservatory for the light trail, I was thinking, well, I should put my music on there since I was there at the beginning of it.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did, because I would be disappointed if I couldn't hear your music. Who would you like to thank? The list has got to be so long in terms of people picking up that phone call and saying, yes, I'll be a part of this, to people who you haven't even mentioned.
Yes, and I'm going to leave off somebody, I know. So somebody, if I've left you off, it's not because I don't love you and I'm not grateful. I'm incredibly grateful to everybody. The first person I want to thank actually is Lisa Frusciante, because she's an artist, but she's also the executive director of Alma Mater. And she was one of the first people that put their hand up and said, yes, this is a great idea. Let's do it. And she has helped all the way with connections and light art and so on. I want to also give a shout out to all the other people that jumped on board right at the beginning, most of the major museums downtown, as well as Spaceworks, who is on board. Big shout out to Tacoma Creates, because without them, I would not have funded my part of it, which got the whole thing going. And I've had help from so many quarters. Josh Parmenter also has transferred the whole website over to a server, which saves me a ton of money. I've had an anonymous patron offer to pay an artist to do something. The whole community has just pulled out all the stops, and I just want to thank everybody who's been a part of it. You can find the whole list if you're interested on the About page of the website.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, it is my intention of light and to put into that chrysalis that this becomes an annual tradition, because this is something that we need to put into that Grit City crown that says we have a festival of light. Because I'm going to say it, if Seattle has it, we better have it, okay?
Right. And we're going to do it better, because ours is all about community and everybody helping each other. So,
Rosemary, I cannot thank you enough for what you give to our community, for your generous heart, for your unbridled talent, for your ability to always say yes and, or to say not yet, and then make it happen. You are truly the definition of a phenom. So I want to say thank you so much, and Happy New Year to that beautiful family and you as well.
Thank you so much, Amanda, and Happy New Year to yours as well, and everybody else out there.
Thank you, my dear. We have much more to come on Cityline, so don't go away. We'll be right back.